Alam to come on stage with the delegates for the panel discussions. Thank you.
We have been enjoying a lot of sessions from morning, and it's a great privilege and honor for me that I'm going to chair and conduct this very interesting session. We have some distinguished guests, some influential voices from neighboring countries, from some friendly countries, and we'll listen to them and will be get enlightened by the experience they have been undergoing about the global best practices on human resources transformation in the respective countries. So before begin, I'll introduce you to the guests to you. Let's begin from my extreme left, Mr. Yuzi Mishiro. Welcome, Mr. Yuzi Mishiro. Mr. Yuzi Mishiro is the Overseas Relationship Director of Japan Society for Human Resources Management. Prior to this, he worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers as manager from 2003 to 2009. Yuji Mishiro also worked for Bearing Point. Welcome, Mr. Yuji Mishiro. From my extreme left, second one is Mr. Raja Singh Mohandas, Mr. R. Mohandas. Welcome, Mr. R. Mohandas. He is the immediate past president of NIPM. NIPM, the National Institute of Personal Management. This is the only all India body of professional managers which is engaged in the profession of personal management, industrial relations, labor welfare, training, and HAD in the country, in India. Now let me introduce you to Mr. David Lee. Welcome, Mr. David Lee.
Hello.
David Lee is the president of Hong Kong Institute of Human Resource Management. Mr. David is a seasoned human HR professional with more than 30 years of in-depth experience in the full spectrum of HR management in various industries, including consumer products, hospitality, retail, manufacturing, public transport, telecommunication, and he has extensive exposure in employee management, engagement, and caring programs. Now, I'm going to introduce you Mrs. Wu Thi Mai Thu. Welcome, Mrs. Wu Thi Mai Thu. She is the founder, partner of, and president of, and director of HRA, president of HRA, Human Resources, which organizations? Human Resources? Association, Human Resources Association of Vietnam. Welcome, Mrs. Thu. Let me now introduce you to, from my extreme right, is Arisandiram Jagannath Naidu. Welcome, Mr. Arisandiram Jagannath Naidu, President of Malaysian Institute of Human Resource Management. This organization was established in 1975 as a national institute conducting professional training, consultation, and support services for HR professionals. Welcome, Mr. Naidu. Now, let me introduce you Suchada Sukhvasti Ayodhya. Welcome, Suchada Sukhvasti Ayodhya, immediate past president of Personal Management Association of Thailand, which is known as PMAT. Right? PMAT. Okay. Now, the last guest is Rohita Amarpala, president of the Institute of Personal Management of Sri Lanka. Welcome you all. Welcome you all. It's a long introduction. So, we know that a lot of changes has been taking place in HR transformation, not only in Bangladesh, but across the world. So we'll be very curious about the HR transformations in the different countries especially our neighboring countries, in our regional countries, because we have a lot of similarities in the developmental challenges. So we'll be very pleased to hear about their experience, how they have been pursuing their dreams on HR transformation. So let me begin with ladies first. So let me begin with Mrs. Wu. Thu, Mrs. Thu, she's from Vietnam. So tell us about the experience on HR transformations in Vietnam. You have been working for long in this sector, so we'll be very delighted to have your experience first.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. You may know that HR is the new concept in Vietnam. It's only introduced into Vietnam by foreign investors in the early 90s. So HR transformation is even newer. But for like 10 years now, it made a lot of changes, big important changes in Vietnam development, especially in Vietnamese economy. In Vietnam, it's like a few other countries, we have a state-owned enterprises and government sector economy, while there are private sectors, chiefly SMEs. Only, majority of them are small enterprises. In that context, the HR transformations, as you have heard, a nice presentation by Mrs. Lin and Mr. Busharf, we apply from companies to business groups, state-owned and private. It's differently practiced, but I may sum up you what's the changes it has made in one is in the eyes of HR professionals. I may divide it into two types. One, the changes in employer. These employers could be state-owned enterprises or government bodies. And the second one is changes in employee in both sectors. The first very important change it has made is in the work attitude and managing skills of SOEs, and therefore it impacts the government bodies. Not only the attitude, but the working method or the skills. Then it leads to the second big change is the concept of customers, because the market economy is also new to Vietnam. So the government sectors and government bodies, they don't have the concept of customers or services in the definition that we all know here. But they all go, is it a matter of to be or not to be? They have to change. The foreign invested companies introduce these HR transformations, HR management and development into Vietnam.
So you believe that the HR transformation in Vietnam have been greatly impacted the development, national development in your country?
Sure, it's greatly impact all the areas of economies, from the state-owned one to the private one.
Okay, let's move on to our Mohandas. He's from India. We are very passionately looking at the rapid economic growth of India. So how critically you are putting forward emphasis on HR transformations in India, and what prompted you to initiate HR transformation, and especially you have already established HR ministry in your country. So how greatly it has been impacting your economy and overall development of human resources in your country?
In India, the human resource transformation has been tremendous in the past few years. Traditionally, if you see, the HR management in industry started with payroll. That's the time management that used to be the traditional role. Then it became the welfare of the workers. That was the role it played. Then it became the industrial relations. That was this thing. Now it has come to the employee-based, individual-based, competency-based, bringing the best out of the individual. That's the concept is being done. That's a transformation as such. If you see globally, that's what is happening. If you see any action, it's like your marketing. It's a customer need. So the need of the whole society, the need of the industry, that derives the whole transformation in the HR. That's a trigger this thing. Same way the global economy, the Indian economy or the country's economy, the working environment, various other factors, all influences ultimately the industry, which industry in turn puts on HR, because any transformation in the industry has to come, it has to come through HR. The line manager and other things, technologically and other things, they will be doing it. But ultimately, it involves the human behavior. The human behavior, when it has to be touched, the HR intervention is involved. So that's why, so far, whatever is happening now, globally, the economy is growing. Earlier, China and India was not considered as a big market and other things. They were Europe and other things were considered as a big market for multinationals. Now, entire world, China and India is the future of the market, whole market. The population of these two countries once was considered as a bane or the curse. Now it is turning the other way. That is becoming a boon because the market is there. So everybody is coming towards it. So a lot of changes are taking place. To match the change, match the need, the whole thing has to change. So then HR activities also, according to that, your IT applications have come in now, the faster way of delivering the systems and identifying the core. The another thing also, if you see important thing, the technology, earlier technology used to play a major role, the inventions and other things. Today everything is available, you can get it. But what you cannot get is the human brain or the knowledge, what the individual has got. By experience and other things, what he has got. That is only is going to be the edge of deciding a best company and a normal company. So because of that, now the individual is given much importance, and individual's capabilities and his innovative abilities, the organizations are trying to bring it out. So that's the change in the whole philosophy in HR, which a person can do is becoming the leader. In fact, future, the thing is in India is already happening. HR executives are becoming chief executives of various organizations. Already in India it's happening.
Mohandas, can you give a sense about how productive the HR ministry in your country? I mean,
See, the HR ministry, what they are basically concentrating, they are concentrating on the education side. It's in the primary level or secondary level or collegiate education. That was the role it has been played. But recently there is a change in there also. See, what we find, the country is full of youth. It's nearly 60 to 70% of the country, people's age is less than 30 years, 25 to 30. But the industries are not able to get the right manpower what they want. The right skills are not available. The education system which is there, which is not giving the right skills so that he can be straight away employed in the factory or this thing. So now the industry is, HRD ministry is concentrating on developing that skill. There are a lot of dropout students are there, they have not gone to the schools, but they have some kind of skill and other things. So ministry is concentrating now on creating some kind of skill centers in each districts and give them slightly fine-tuned training and kind of certification process so that the industry gets a trained manpower. That's the thing. So they are now trying to concentrate on the skill development and the competencies and soft skills of the individuals. That's the thing.
Thank you. Let me move on to the Yuzi Mishiro. We have all been impressed, overwhelmingly impressed with the development of Japan. So how you have successfully transformed the HR in your country? What's your experience?
We Japanese company or organization must overcome post-economic growth HR problem. So first challenge is aging workforce, most aging Japanese workforce. We encounter firstly most aging workforce problem. So we must challenge to hire foreign employee, or we must go abroad to have a business. And second challenge is building new culture. So as you know, Japanese workers have a tradition of hard work or overtime working style. So we must change this working style. And Japan has no HR ministry. Ministry in charge of HR is Health and Labor Ministry. They are challenging employee health problem now.
Now on to Mr. Rohita Amarpala. Rohita Amarpala, I know that in your country you have also been struggling with transforming your human resources, and you also have established ministry like HRD,
Yes.
right? So how efficiently, how effectively, how positively it has been working, and overall how you have been contributing in your country to develop your human resources.
Well, I think it's too early to comment on the role of ministry, HR ministry, because for name per se, the ministry has been established. It was there even during last regime, but there had been no meaningful contribution towards the development of HR profession. In that sense, I can say very honestly, our institute, IPM Sri Lanka, plays a huge role in developing HR profession in the country, but to take forward human resource profession, because we conduct our own HR programs in the country, and we offer HR qualifications, and we offer certificate level, then foundation level, certificate level, then diploma level, post-qualification in human resource management. Apart from that, now we have come to a stage where to offer even degree awarding status, degrees. For that, we have applied degree awarding status from the government, and we are going under, they have started the evaluation process. And because recently government has taken initiatives to offer degree awarding status for various bodies, and we have taken the advantage, and we are in the process of obtaining this degree awarding status. And not only that, when it comes to HR profession in our country, we always try to position HR through various HR related initiatives. For an example, I can say our National HR Conference, which is a flagship event of HR professionals in the country. We position it as one of the biggest conventions happening in the month of June in the country, and we attract local and foreign delegates to attend our National HR Conference. And not only that, all HR professionals, then government officials, ministers, even we have gone up to the extent of inviting the president last time, though we couldn't get him, and but very senior ministers, they attend. And apart from that, of course, during our latest involvement, having attended your HR conference last year, Bangladesh HR conference last year, I met a well-renowned professional, Professor T.V. Rao. Through him, we have started, recently we started our HR auditors program in the country. That was also an initiative taken by us to develop the HR profession in the country, because we realize once you, and through that, of course, we introduce HR auditors network in the country. And there are about nearly 60 qualified HR auditors in that network now. And through that, what we are trying to do, we are trying to get them to evaluate the HR professional activities, HR contribution in organizations. This network, they go and do audits, and they provide a report. Once the CEOs or business leaders obtain the report, They understand very clearly where they stand in terms of HR, human resource management. And that will be an eye-opener, we believe, for them to focus on developing the HR professional in their organizations.
Rohit, despite of having the fact that you say that the HR ministry has just been created, but it has not been very functional, not been very effectively working.
Yes.
But what prompted you, I mean, the policymakers led you to think about establishing a human resources ministry in your country?
I think it's not a secret. In any country, human resource management profession has been recognized as it is a highly evolving profession, and our countries have realized the importance of human factor.
Okay.
So that would have been the definitely reason. But when it comes to operational activities, they are planning activities, and I heard that they are going to have and in fact we are also getting involved, the National HR Summit in the country, something like what we are doing, our National HR Conference, but it's going to happen during this year. And until such time that we can see something something happening meaningful in the country, it's too early to make any comment.
Okay. Suchada, tell us your story in Thailand.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator. Actually, I will tell you about the story of the best practice in my country. It's the story of one of the biggest company in Thailand, which established more than 100 years. The transformation they start since 1985, and it's changed, it's transformed not only in HR, but the whole company. First of all, they have, I summarize in the triangle shape. The top one is about the ideal, the mindset of the top management. At the beginning, this company produced about the construction material such as cement, bricks, all kinds of the instruction raw material. After that, they changed their mindset. Now we will turn to trading company. Trading company, they produce many kinds of goods that used after construction. It means that they change their business context, their mindset, and then they communicate down to all levels. All of the management team, down to staff, knowing that business context had changed, they have to change. The second angle is focused on people. People have to develop themselves. When they want to hire the new one, almost every year, they select the top notch from university in many areas. I mean engineering, management, accounting, something, then focus on the grade that the high earn. The one who earn less than 2.7 do not apply with this company. So the brain of this talent is quite bright. They're eager to learn. On the first day for interviewing, the top management interview this candidate on their own, and they inform about the new change of the company. And the last triangle, the third triangle is supposed to be execution. When all management team knows all about transform, when people accept transform,
execute must be done. So it goes smoothly. And
Do you find significant motivation in your country about among the people about the human
yes,
resources
we
transformation?
learned that everybody who passed, I mean, who resigned from this company are welcome in all companies.